Hi guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing another book haul, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not realize that I had so many books to show you guys. When I was compiling all of my books for this video, I just did not realize how many books I had bought since the last time I did one of these. And yeah, it's almost 40 books. But with that being said, I did read quite a few of these. And so the ones that I've already read, we're just kind of going to breeze past those because I've already talked about a majority of them. And so I'm just going to redirect you guys to those videos. And the ones that I haven't talked about yet, I'm not going to say much about it here because reviews for those will be coming. But the other books, some of them, I don't really know much about them. I just bought them on a whim, so still won't have much to say. But yeah, there's a lot to go through. I was gifted a couple of books because my birthday was yesterday as of the filming of this video. And then I did buy myself some books because I had some birthday coupons, but that's neither here nor there. So we will just go ahead and get started. So the first two books that I'm going to start off with are ones that I was gifted from my friend Alicia for my birthday. And she does have her own channel, and I will link that down below in my description bar. But the first one is The Queen of Blood by Sarah Beth Durst, and this is the first book in the Queens of Renthia, and she did get this off of my Amazon wish list. But this, I think, is a adult fantasy series, and all I know about this is it has something to do with like these spirits that are trying to rid, I think, the forest of all of the humans. I've heard anyone that has read this series has said really good things about it, especially Elle over at Elliot Brooks. She speaks highly of this series. I think anytime she's recommending like fantasy series, she's always bringing this one up. I'm already reading a book right now from this author, which I'm really enjoying. It's The Bone Maker. And so I really wanted this one, so now I've got it. So thank you, Alicia. And then the other one that she got me is The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. And the back doesn't really say much. It's about a princess. Again, this is one that I've been seeing circulating around on BookTube. I think another book has already come out in this series. I've heard really good things about it. I've heard this author has another series that came out before this one that I've heard really good things about. So I wanted to check this one out. I think I actually have the first book in the other series on my wish list as well. But I'm excited to get to this one, like I said, because I've just heard really good things. So again, thank you. So then the next couple of books that I have are books that I bought with some birthday coupons that I had. So I went to Half Price Books, and I believe it was like a 15% off coupon. So anything that I got 15% off of my entire purchase. So the first book that I got there was The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. And this is the second book or the companion book to The Soulmate Equation. And I really liked The Soulmate Equation. Well, okay, let me not say I really liked. I thought The Soulmate Equation was fine. I remember when I read it, I rated that one a 3 stars. I liked it well enough to want to continue with this one, especially since I heard people enjoyed this one, and it follows the friend of the main character from The Soulmate Equation. So this is following that friend. I don't remember what her name is. Felicity, but they call her Fizzy, and she is a romance novelist, and then I think she's going to start up a romance with someone that is a filmmaker. That's all that I know. Like I said, I've heard people really enjoy this one, so I thought the other one, like I said, was fine. Hopefully I at least think this one is fine, or I enjoy it more than The Soulmate Equation, but I wanted to give this one a try. Then I picked up The Unwanted Guest by Sherry Lapina. Now, you guys know by this author, I highly enjoyed Not a Happy Family. So there was quite a few books that they had at Half Price Books. If you guys never heard of that bookstore or you don't have it, it's just a used bookstore. You can go there and sell like your used books. That's usually where I go and sell any of my books that I'm unhauling. But they had a lot of books by this author, and this is just the one that stuck out to me. And I was going to pick up a few others that she had, but I was like, no, let me just pick the best one, because I'm not sure if any of her other books are gonna live up to the hype for me that Not a Happy Family did. So this was the best sounding one that she had, and this one is just basically a group of people are at this like retreat. I think they're at like a mountain lodge, and people are dying one by one, and I guess someone at that lodge is killing them, and they have to figure out who's doing it. So I love a good story where people are getting picked off one by one. One of my friends, Nakia, told me that she read this one and enjoyed it. So if she enjoyed it, I hope that I will enjoy it as well. So then the next 3 books that I have are all books that I got using my birthday coupon from Barnes & Nobles. Now that one was just a $5 off coupon. So clearly the 3 books that I got went way over the limit there, but it's fine, whatever. I at least had the coupon to use. So the first one that I got is The Marriage Act by John Mars. This is actually one of my most anticipated reads for this year, but I wanted to read 2 of his other backlist titles before I got to this one. But The Marriage Act is just basically the story of over in, I think it's Great Britain, just over in Britain. Marriage is the law, and I guess you get punished if you do not get married and you remain single. So far from people who I have seen read this, they have been enjoying it. So I just got done with The Passengers by John Mars, and there's one other one that I was trying to read before I got to this one, which I cannot think of the name right now. But as soon as I finish that one, then I will get to this one. So then the last 2 that I'm going to talk about that I got from Barnes & Nobles, I'm going to kind of talk about them together, because the Barnes & Noble's sales lady kind of talked me into getting both of these. I'm going to blame her for making me get both of these. So the first one is The Paper Menagerie by Ken Liu. This is the same author that wrote The Grace of Kings, which I have 3 of the books in that series that I still have not read yet. But I wanted to pick this up because a lot of people have really enjoyed this one. This is a short story collection by this author, and it is fantasy. And the Barnes & Noble's sales lady said that it just tugs at your heartstrings and it will leave you sobbing. And a lot of people that I have seen that has read this has said the exact same thing. Now, I'm not someone that usually cries with anything that I read, but I have just heard that these are just heart-wrenching stories that is in here. And so when she saw me looking at this one, she said that another good short story collection to pick up if I am into sci-fi is to pick up one by Ted Chiang. So then I went ahead and picked up Stories of Your Life and Others by Ted Chiang. And this also includes the short story Arrival. If you guys have seen that movie, I've not seen that movie, Arrival. Apparently everybody else has seen that movie and has really enjoyed it. I have not, but that short story is in here, and that is what that movie is based off of. So I went ahead and picked up a sci-fi short story collection and a fantasy short story collection, and I'm actually really excited to get to both of these. And she said both of these are really thought-provoking, and I'm really interested in that. And I've heard really good things about Ted Chiang's short story collection. This one, and there was another one that he had there called Exhalation. So I was kind of torn between getting this one and Exhalation, but she told me to try out this one. So I'm really interested in both of these. But between these 2, I probably would start off with The Paper Menagerie. Now I'm going to go ahead and move to my Book of the Month picks. So I don't have anything to show for the month of April because April was a dud and I skipped that month. So we're just gonna go ahead and move to the month of May. And so I picked 3 books for the month of May. The first one being The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I actually already read this one, and I really enjoyed this one. I'm not going to say too much here because I have not reviewed it yet on my channel, but I have a lot of thoughts about this one. Again, I really enjoyed it. It just follows this woman who is house sitting at like this secluded beach house, and she read this horrible horror novel. She ended up rating it 1 star, and she has this back and forth with the author, who did not like her 1-star review of their book. And so she then begins to think that the author is now stalking her, and the book just kind of takes off from there. This was a wild ride. A lot happens. It gets kind of silly at certain points, but it totally works for this. And I thoroughly enjoyed this book. If you guys have seen this around and you don't know if you should pick it up, I say go ahead and pick it up, because this was a fun time. So then I got Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. It's an adult romance. All I know about this is I think it follows like 2 feuding doctors, and then like the woman doctor maybe is no longer mad at the male doctor because he decides to give her brother a kidney, and then a romance ensues, something like that. But this is like the second book in a series, I think, because there was another book that came out before this one, which I was totally unaware when I picked this up, and I don't know if I need to read the first book that came out, like if I can just read this, or if I need to go back and read the one that came out before this one. So if you guys have read the other book that came before this one, and you have read this one, like, can you tell me if I need to read that other one first, or if I can just read this? So if someone can please just let me know that. Otherwise, I don't mind going back and reading the other one, but I won't if I don't need to. But if you think it's just that good for me to go back and read the first one, I mean, I'll do that too. But yeah, I went ahead and picked this one because it just sounded good. It sounded cute. But then afterwards, when I was looking at it on Goodreads, I was like, oh, this is like book 2. I was so unaware. Yeah, I think that's another thing Book of the Month could be better at. Let someone know that this is like book 2, because I didn't know that. And then the last one that I picked for the month of May is Did You Hear About Kitty Carr by Crystal Smith Paul. I'm not too sure about what this is, or even what category this would fall under, like adult historical fiction. I almost want to say it's probably like adult historical fiction, but it just says a multi-generational saga that traverses the glamour of old Hollywood and the seductive draw of modern day showbiz. I've heard this is very reminiscent of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I haven't heard whether or not people have been enjoying this one, or people have really been getting around to this one yet. So the jury is still out on that one, but yep. I guess we'll see what I think when I get to it. So then the picks for June for Book of the Month just weren't that great either, in my opinion. They didn't have a lot of the picks that I thought they would have had, especially with all the books that are coming out throughout the month of June. So that was a little bit disappointing. But the first book that I did pick is Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torres. And this was actually recommended to me by one of my Instagram friends. She told me that I should go ahead and pick this one. So I did. I'm not too sure exactly what this is about, but just from the little blurb in here, it says it follows 2 estranged half-sisters tasked with guarding their family's library of magical books. They must work together to unravel a deadly secret at the heart of their collection. It's a tale of familial loyalty and betrayal in the pursuit of magic and power. Sounds interesting enough to me. And then this next one, The Whispers by Ashley Audrain. This is actually one of my most anticipated reads as well. I was really excited to see this one on there. It was there as an add-on, but this was the only one that I was excited to see. But so this one is just following this woman. It takes place over the course of 3 days. Her son has fallen out of like their upstairs bedroom window, and I think we're following her as over the course of these 3 days as she is trying to figure out what happened to cause her son to follow out of this window. But we're following not just her and her son, but the neighbors as well. And I think everyone might be tied up in this situation somehow. But if you're unaware of this author, she is the one that wrote the book The Push that came out a couple of years ago at this point, which was really good. So I was excited when it was announced that she was finally coming out with another book. So I'm really excited to get to this one. So these next few books are books that I have. One book I'm right in the middle of, and then the rest of them I have already talked about or I'm going to talk about. So we are going to breeze right through these. So the first one is All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. I'm almost halfway through this and I am enjoying this. I thought that I would have read this a lot faster than I am, but I'm kind of reading it a little slower because I'm annotating it. I'm just taking it all in. If you guys don't know, he is one of my favorite authors. This is the most anticipated book of the year for me, and needless to say, I'm loving it. But this is a adult, I'm gonna say crime thriller. Most of his books are crime thrillers, but this just follows this sheriff that is investigating this double murder that took place at this high school. As he is investigating these murders, he is uncovering a lot of secrets that is in this small town, and it's really dark. I really think this is one of S.A. Cosby's darker stories. I thought Razorblade Tears was pretty dark, but I think this one probably takes the cake. And like I said, I am enjoying this one. So more to come on this. Next up, we have You Reach Sam by Destin Tao. I just finished this not too long ago and I haven't reviewed this yet on my channel, but this was recommended to me by one of my subscribers because in some video a while ago, I mentioned that I have never read a book that has made me cry. For whatever reason, I am just not a crier when it comes to books. And they told me to try this one because it's really emotional. This is a young adult romance. This one just follows a young couple, and the girl loses her boyfriend in a tragic accident. And then she is later able to communicate with him through her cell phone, through telephone calls. And I did think that it was very emotional because it deals with grief and how people handle grief, but it just didn't pull at my heartstrings like I thought it would. I still thought that parts of it was really sad, and I did like the conversation around grief, but it wasn't the emotional story that I thought it was going to be. But again, more to come on that. Next up, we have Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. I've talked about this several times on my channel at this point, but it's a adult fantasy novella. This was one of my most anticipated reads for this year. I did enjoy it. I gave it a 3 stars. Still, the Greenbone Saga is my favorite that she has came out with so far. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it while I read it, but it just wasn't anything that was memorable for me. At the time that I read it, I read a e-arc of it, but I still wanted a physical copy, so I ordered it, and yeah, now I have a copy of it, so that's that. So here is another one that I've talked about several times on my channel at this point, A Flaw in the Design by Nathan Oates. Another one of my most anticipated reads of this year. It did not disappoint. I gave this one a 4 stars. It is a slow burn adult psychological mystery. If you are into books that are slower, that are more focused on the characters, and you are able to just sit with the book for a minute, I think this is something that would work for you. Again, I've already talked about this a few times, but yeah, I would recommend this to people who like slower paced books, but if that is you, I would recommend this one. Another one that I already have a review. This is the third book in a series, and I actually have a series review for this one, but this is Black Girls Must Have It All by Jane Allen. This is the third book in the series, and this is for the series Black Girls Must Die Exhausted. I gave this one a 3 stars. I really enjoyed that first book in the series. I said in that series review, I'm not really sure the other 2 books in that series were necessarily needed. I don't regret reading the other books in the series, but that first book will always have a place in my heart because I just love that first one. But these other 2 books, they were fine, but I will have that series review linked down below. So this one, Paradise 1 by David Wellington. Okay, so I kind of read this one. So we were supposed to do a buddy read between me, my friend Nakia over at Nakia's Hideaway, and Tori over at Tori Morrow. And we picked this one for all of us to buddy read together. And let me just say it didn't go well. So I DNF'd this one. Nakia DNF'd it as well. And Tori is pushing through for us so she can let us know how it went. I got about 100 pages in. Nakia didn't. And yeah, so this is a adult sci-fi horror. I don't even remember what this is about. I didn't get that far to figure out what it's supposed to be about. But these people were supposed to be heading over to this planet that was supposed to be Paradise 1. To the point that I got, they didn't even make it there. They were still stuck on the ship. So that's as far as I got. There was a lot of action, but nothing was happening, if that makes any sense at all. So yeah, I just could not, and this book is almost 700 pages. I just could not see myself sitting through that. So I'm so curious to know what Tori is going to think, or if she's even still reading it at this point. I have not gotten a check-in from her in a while. So yeah, I had to put this one down. But I tried, I attempted, I gave it the good old try. So these next few books, I'm just gonna go ahead and breeze by these as well, because I only picked these up because if you are a book nerd, like most of us here are, then you probably are aware that Book Depository is no more. And when I found that out, I about had a panic attack because I was getting a lot of UK copies of books, and I had started getting the UK versions of The Realm of the Elderling series. Now, have I started that series? No. But I was getting the UK copies of those books, and I wanted to at least get all of the copies of the first 2 series completed, because I'm not sure if like Amazon is gonna send the correct copies or where I'm gonna get the I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I went ahead and got the next 2 copies in the Farseer trilogy. So Royal Assassin and Assassin's Quest, all by Robin Hobb. And then I got the next 2 books in the Live Ship Trader series, and so that is the Mad Ship and the Ship of Destiny. So I just wanted to go ahead and get these books so that they will all be the same. Again, I'm just not sure if Amazon is going to be able to give like UK copies, or if I'm going to be able to get them from somewhere else. I'm just not sure. But at least, because I had the first book in each of these series, because I just didn't know if I was going to like the Farseer trilogy, or if I was gonna like the Live Ship Trader. So that's why I got one of each. But then I just had like a panic attack, and I was like, oh my gosh, I only have one of each. What if I like both of them? I want all my copies to match. So I just went ahead and just completed the series. So there's that. So then last year I started reading Mistborn Era 2. And then The Lost Meadow came out, which was the 4th book in that series. And so I wanted the white version, the UK cover of that as well, and I was getting that through Book Depository, so I went ahead and ordered it. But there is a problem. Let me show you that problem. So this will be like the normal size of those books. So then when I ordered The Lost Metal, it's freaking huge. It's way bigger. Look at that. It's way bigger than the other books. So yay for me. I got The Lost Metal, but it did no good because it's not even the same size as the other books. But I mean, I got it. It's white. It looks like the other ones. It's just not the same size. Now, all of these other books that I'm just going to talk about are just random books that I got that I've just accumulated these last couple of months. There's no rhyme. There's no reason. I just got them. I got on the hype train for Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And the only reason really why I picked this up was because of how pretty it was with like the sprayed edges. I still really don't know what this is about besides like some school and dragons. Maybe there's like a little bit of romance. And at first, I was hearing that a lot of people were enjoying this, and then I started listening to a lot of people who I follow for a lot of their fantasy reviews, and they are saying that it's not that great. And so this just keeps getting knocked further and further and further down my TBR. So, I mean, I was really excited that I got it because as soon as I got it, I learned that it was like sold out at my Barnes and Nobles. There was like a really long wait on Amazon to get it. So like, I was happy I got my hands on it, but I don't really know when I'm going to pick this up. Especially because now the reviews are starting to be mixed despite what Goodreads says. I tend to listen to people whose tastes are more in line with my own. So I'll get to this when I get to it. But like I said, I am happy that I own a copy. But yeah, whenever I get to it. So then I got Engines of Empire by R.S. Ford, adult fantasy. I've heard Elle again from Elliot Brooks talk about this one, and this one just fascinated me because it talks more about magic fueled machines, which that's interesting. I've never read that. And then at one point she was talking about how this is really reminiscent of Game of Thrones. She said that if you like the drama of Game of Thrones, then you would enjoy this. Now the buzzword for me was drama. So I was like, well, that sounds interesting. So yeah, I went ahead and picked this up. And then I got the popular Emily Henry Happy Place, another adult romance. This is also one of my most anticipated books for this year, along with everybody else. And last year I read, what was the book? Was it Book Lovers? Yes, I had to look. It was Book Lovers. I thought that one was fine. I'm hoping that I enjoy this one. I think this is like a fake dating, well, not fake dating, but the couple used to be together, but then they're not together anymore, but they have to pretend to be together in front of their friends, but then I think they slowly start to like each other again type of thing, which I'm fine with that. So I'm hoping though that that's what it is, because in Book Lovers, I was a little fooled by what that was supposed to be. So I hope this is what it says it's supposed to be. So I don't know, Emily Henry. So far, I've only liked one of her books, which was the People We Meet on Vacation. So that was the only one that I really liked. So hopefully this one does not let me down. So this one is a huge book. Like, it's a chunky one. But this is 3 books in one. And this is The Rising by Mira Grant. Adult, I'm going to say adult horror. So this is the Newsflash trilogy. And so Mira Grant is also Shannon Maguire. So if you have read oh my God, why can't I think of people's names or the titles of these books? If you have read like the Wayward Children series, then you would know who Mira Grant is, because she is also the same author who wrote that series. But technically the first book in this bind up is called Feed, and I have been wanting this like trilogy for so long because it just sounds so good. But it's about zombies, but not like literally about the zombies, but like the politics around what caused them to be zombies. I think that just sounded so interesting to me. I read one other book by her under the name Mira Grant, which was, oh my god, it's escaping me, but it was something about The Drowning Deep. Yeah, it was something about like mermaids. I'll leave a title or something, but if you know what I'm talking about, yeah, it was something about mermaids. But anywho, I like her writing style, and I just feel like her writing about zombies and like the politics around that sounds so interesting. And when I saw this, it was a bind up and it was only $7 at Half Price Books. I had to pick this up, so I did, obviously, and I cannot wait to get to this. This is more like a fall time read, I'm gonna say. Even though this is really thick, I don't think each of these books are that long, probably like maybe about 300 pages a piece. So I cannot wait to get to at least the first story or the first book in this bind up. So then I got a nonfiction, and this is Poverty in America by Matthew Desmond. And I already read a nonfiction by this author. I think I read it last year, and it was so good. Sad, but it was so good, and that was Evicted. And when I found out that he was writing another book, I had to immediately pick it up. And so this one is all about poverty in America. And I imagine that it's just going to be just as sad as Evicted was. But I've heard good things about this one. I'm sure that it's going to be very informative. And I just have to have the time. Anytime I feel that I want to pick up, nonfiction, I want to have the time to like really sit with it and not rush through it. 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to like annotate it. But I just don't want to rush through it and skip over it and not really take it in. So whenever I have the time I don't have like so many other books going at the same time, is when I'll probably get to this one. So then I randomly picked up The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. I have not heard too many people say good things about this one. I have skipped over picking up this book for so long, and finally I saw it for really cheap, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick this one up finally. And so I did. And so it's just following this woman on a cruise ship. She thinks that she heard a woman go overboard, but the captain of the ship says that everybody on this cruise ship, is it a cruise ship? Yes. Everybody on is it? Or did I make that up? Yes. So the captain says that everybody is accounted for. And so this woman is like, well, I heard something. So I think that sounds amazing. And I just feel in my soul that I'm going to like this. I hope. So there has only been one Ruth Ware book that I just did not like, and that was Turn of the Key. Everything else I have thought at least was fine. I have enjoyed it for the most part, and I just really think that I'm gonna like this one. So I just finally was like, you know what, I don't care what anybody else says, I wanted to pick this up, so I did. So then I picked this one up. I think I got this from Target. This is Reggie and Delilah's Year of Falling by Elise Bryant. This is a young adult romance. I think this just has to do with these two. They're like not necessarily being themselves around each other, and they keep like coming back to each other every so often until finally they are themselves around each other, sort of thing. So it just sounded cute. I wanted to check it out, so I am. So then I got Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume. First off, I saw this at Barnes & Noble's in this cute like edition, and I could not pass this up. I remember reading this when I was so young. I used to read a whole bunch of Judy Blume books, and this was obviously one of them. And I believe there's like a movie coming out, or it already came out somewhere. I think that's why they redid like a few editions of it, but I just had to pick this up. And it's just a coming of age story, and this girl just talks to God about her problems. I cannot wait to read this again. It's probably gonna take me like an hour, if that, to go through this, but I cannot wait to read this. So then the next one I got is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, which all of a sudden, I swear everyone is reading this book, or has read it, or is reading the sequel to this book. It just came out of nowhere. I swear, like last year, I had seen like a couple of people reading this, and then all of a sudden, this is all I see, especially like on Instagram. And so I caved and I bought it. This is just following this woman who becomes a nanny for this couple. She discovers some secrets about this family, and I guess some odd things is happening in this house. So yeah, I can't wait to get to it. And then I've been hearing some things that the sequel is pretty good as well. So yeah, I'm just really intrigued on whether or not I'm going to enjoy this, because like I said, everybody is reading this all of a sudden. So I just can't wait to know what I'm going to think about it. And then I have a adult thriller, I think. It says it on the front, a thriller. Not So Perfect Strangers by L.S. Stratton. And this one follows a woman who is trying to leave her abusive husband. She comes across another woman that is leaving an abusive man, and then they join forces and are trying to help each other. Sounds interesting. Cover is very, very intriguing. I haven't heard anyone talk about this, so I'm intrigued. So then I have When the Reckoning Comes by LaTanya McQueen, adult horror. And I don't really know much about this besides a woman is going to her friend's wedding that is happening on a plantation. That's scary enough. I've heard people say that they've enjoyed this, and it is scary. I mean, anytime somebody is saying that they're doing something on a plantation in this day and age, that sounds horrifying to me. So, I mean, I'm sold already. That's all I need to know. So then I have Silver Under Nightfall by Ren Chepeko. This is a adult fantasy, I think. And this, all I know is it has something to do with like a vampire bounty hunter, and there's like a romance. Yeah, I didn't do much with selling that one. But I saw Aaron from Booked and Busy rave about this, and that's why I ended up picking it up. So I hope that I enjoy this as much as she did, but she sold the heck out of this book. So that's why I like rushed out and picked it up. So I just hope that I really enjoy it, but I really don't know like more than that besides vampires and a romance. That's all that I needed to know. And then the last book that I have is The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks. And it's about this couple who are having marital issues. They go to this therapist who is unlicensed or lost their license to get some help, but then all of these secrets are revealed, including some secrets that the therapist has, and that all sounds good to me, because why? It sounds like there is some mess, and we know Ty loves her some mess. So can't wait to get to this one. So those are all of the books that I have. Again, any of the books that I have already read and that I have already done reviews for, I will have those reviews linked down below in my description bar in case you guys are interested. But other than that, that is all that I have for you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.